This is lesson 8 of the B3 part 2 booklet on plant hormones, and it's just for students who are in 10V and 10E. All of the instructions for completing the booklet and the work are on the link on SharePoint, so you can access answers, etc. So this session is all about plant hormones. Okay, and hormones are basically chemicals that give instructions. So in a plant, these chemicals do numerous jobs, but one hormone is called auxin, and auxin controls a lot to do with the growth of the plant. Okay, and it makes sure that the shoots grow up and the roots grow down. So auxin controls plant growth. It's produced near the tips of shoots and roots, and it controls the plant's growth in response to light, and this is called phototropism, and gravity, which is called geotropism or gravitropism. Okay, so auxin is produced in the tips and moves backwards to stimulate cell elongation, which we will refer to as growth. Okay, now if the tip of a shoot is removed, then no auxin is available and the shoot may stop growing. So let's take a look at the response to light. So these pictures show you a plant shoot, roots in the soil, and obviously the leaves. The auxin is produced in the tip and it moves backwards down the stem. So when the light is from directly above, that's the process that will happen. And because there's an even distribution of auxin, the shoot grows straight up. Now, these next two pictures are looking at what happens if light comes from a particular direction. So in this case, the light is coming from here in this direction. So what happens is auxin gathers here on the shaded side of the shoot. Now auxin promotes growth, so that means that this side grows more than this side. As a result of that, because this side has grown more than this side, the whole shoot curves towards the light. Now in these three boxes in the answer sheet, you can get some notes to that effect. Now, we also need to take a look at plant growth in response to gravity. Okay, so just to get our bearings with these pictures. So this is basically a plant on its side. And this area we've got the roots, and this area we've got the shoots. Now, because of gravity, auxin basically gathers on the lower side of that plant. Now, here's a slight difficult bit to get your head around, and that is that in this situation, auxin will actually inhibit, not stimulate growth of the root. Okay, so it means where the auxin's gathered here, there will be less growth than the other side, and because of that, the whole root curves downwards, which is what you want, because then it can go to the water and get water out of the soil. In the shoot, auxin gathers on the lower side, but we know that in the shoot, auxin promotes growth. So this lower side actually grows more than this side. So the shoot grows upwards, which is what we would want because it can grow towards the light. Now, there are instructions in the lesson for you to fill this box in from the video. Okay, so obviously you can pause the video, right? So I'm just going to talk you through what I've done in this box. I've basically done a summary of the information above. So we've got a shoot, gravity acting in this direction, auxin gathers on the lower side. Now, auxin in a shoot promotes growth, so this side grows more than this side, so the whole shoot starts to grow upwards. And this says that gravity, response to gravity, there's an unequal distribution of auxin, more auxin on the lower side, so the lower side grows faster or more, and the whole thing bends upwards. And then in the root, we've got the root here, gravity acting in that direction, auxin on the lower side. Now this time, auxin does not promote growth. So this side grows less than this side. So the whole thing grows and curves downwards. So there's more auxin on the lower side. This inhibits growth, so the root bends downwards. Okay. Now, A15, uses of plant hormones, gives us information which I would like you to read when you, it's all in your lesson instructions. But basically, just to summarize this, what we've been able to do is manipulate these hormones, okay, to help us with plant growth. So we can actually use auxin, ironically, as a weed killer, all right? Now it will basically affect broad-leaved plants like dandelions, okay? And because it promotes growth, it causes them to grow out of control and kills them. But it doesn't affect grass and other crops. The other thing we can do, and it might be a little bit confusing, is we can use it as something called a rooting powder. And it will actually promote the formation of roots on plant cuttings. So, you know, if you cut a section off a plant, if you dipped it into auxin, it would encourage roots to grow, and then you could plant that section that you've cut from the plant. Ethene, sometimes called ethylene, is another hormone, okay? And this stimulates enzymes that cause fruit to ripen, okay? So it's all about ripening of fruit. Now, the commercial aspect of this, of course, is that we buy fruit from supermarkets and we don't want fruit to be too ripe when we're transporting it, storing it for sale in supermarkets. So supermarkets have learned to deal with levels of ethene, and we can actually absorb ethene to prevent ripening, so the fruit has a longer shelf life. Final set of hormones are called gibberellin, and these stimulate seed germination, which is basically down here. Look, you can see the process of germination from a seed. It's basically growth from a seed, okay? So gibberellin stimulates this process, stem growth and flowering, okay? So we can actually use it to promote flowering, and we can also use it to produce bigger flowers and larger fruits. Now, within this lesson as well, there is a required practical. I do not want you to worry about this page at all. We're not going to do this page at the moment. We'll do it when you get back into school. But in the notes to go with the lesson, it asks you to watch a video just to give you the idea behind this practical, which we can pick up later. Okay. So that is the session on plant hormones, lesson 8. What I'd like you to do now is go to the link for the work to do with the lesson, complete the work, and then green pen it. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.